All right. Good morning, folks. I have to tell you, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But look, I want to say this. We are going to watch history being made today. I am certain of that. BB is about to sit down in the Oval Office with our president. I am certain a lot is about to happen. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some very unique things that are happening in Israel. We are going to talk about the insane situation that we have had in American aviation in the last week. We are going to talk about everything that relates to that and why it is indicative of the year we're going to have. So it's very, very interesting what we're watching in the current moment. And I can tell you the thing about me saying Israel is making history. The world has no clue what's happening.
No.
They can't see it. They don't know it. They're blind to it.
They don't really want to know, I think. And I think to a certain extent, this is part of what's going on. But
David, in this case, I'm telling you, it is beyond that. In this case, they have no functional level of discernment because they do not see the significance of what's actually happening and how radically what's taking place now is about to change their lives.
well, the question is who? And again, what I've been working on lately is what are the Europeans saying? What is the world saying about America?
That's what I'm talking about.
What is the world saying about Israel? I mean, there's a lot of new movements going on, and I think everybody's freaked out, including what's her name right here?
Oh yeah, Miss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We'll talk about her in just a second. I want to say this, by the way, and I think that this is important. We're going to have a good discussion about tariffs too.
I need to understand the dynamics of the tariffs.
Yep.
And let's see if we can go into that a little bit.
We'll have a conversation about that because there's a lot of really ignorant and dumb information going out about tariffs.
It's not as simple as it seems?
It's probably more simple than it seems.
Okay.
But people are complicating it in a way. But there's a lot to say about this. There's so much. There's so much to say. And Bartjan, thank you. We will answer that question. We're going to have a conversation about the Egyptian border.
Yep.
And the amassing of military resources and military assets by Al-Sisi in that area. And Vinny, we love you very much. Thank you. Let's do this real quick. Let's go over some of these super chats and super stickers. And then what we'll do is we will have a conversation about a couple of, oh my gosh, interesting things. How about let me just start off by saying that at the offset. Okay. How about we just start off with that? But let's go over some of these real quick. Let me read this. Okay, here we are. By the way, can I just simply say this about you guys that are doing the super chats, the super stickers, all that? You guys are amazing. You're a huge blessing to us because when you do that, you increase our support substantially. What you give in the super chats and super stickers goes immediately, directly to supporting me and my family, and that is an absolute blessing. So let's go over some of these. The first one, Brad, I always get nervous when I read Brad's super chats. I'm always nervous. But he says, I was asked if President Trump would end the war in Ukraine and the war in Israel. I said yes to Ukraine, but no to Israel, as only God and God alone will end the war with Israel. You're right about that, Brad. That was actually a very good, powerful statement. There was no humor in that statement either.
That's a Jewish question. I mean, you ask it and you answer it at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. That is absolutely, yep. Okay. And then all the establishment folks are upset about shutting down USAID for crying out loud. That institution, like most, are more bloated than The View. I will gladly receive that assertion. I think you're correct in that assertion. There's what a mess with that situation. Okay, and then Susan O'Leary, you say shout out loud to all the veterans and military members in the group. U.S. Air Force here. Wow, God bless you, Susan, and thank you for your service. I know Dean is out there. He is our mascot for law enforcement. I mean, for military.
Okay.
He is. Dean is, look, I don't talk about him a lot, but he's a man that I have just a huge amount of respect and love for. And I think that the man is doing a lot of great work for our vets. If you guys have never considered supporting or getting behind Dean's ministry, we're going to put a link in the comments here for you guys to click on there if you want to give and support to that ministry. Supporting veterans is a phenomenal ministry. And they do a lot of great work that very few people want to do. And very few people are even good at doing.
Yep. And it's not easy.
Yep. And we've got some awesome veterans in the house. Lieutenant Commander Michael, where is he? Mike Digman, he should be around here. We got a lot of great veterans that are part of our group.
Well, I think I'm a veteran.
You are. You're a veteran of
many.
One of the greatest militaries in world history.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about the United States, although the United States is also one of the greatest militaries in world history.
Well, I think your new Secretary of Defense is cleaning it up from the am I or am I not kind of people.
From all the tranny breakdowns.
So here's the thing. I mean, one of the things I was thinking about when they were talking about it, I don't know, just a side note here. One of the things that they pounded into my head ever since I was a little baby sergeant is that indecisiveness is worse than making a mistake in military terms.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So what's a trans person?
By
definition.
Basically a transvestite. They're a man that thinks they're a girl or a girl that thinks they're a man.
No, by definition, that is the epitome of indecisiveness.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean,
yeah, I thought it was an English word definition thing you were looking for.
No, it is the definition of indecisiveness.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I mean,
it's the epitome of it.
And again, it's the worst thing that you could have in a military combat kind of situation.
Yep. Oh, yeah. 100%.
I just, that just clicked on me
100%.
the other day.
It's like that, and that's actually why Pete Hegseth is like, nope, that we can't have them in the military. Because if you're confused about your gender, you're definitely going to be confused or indecisive about how to maneuver in the battlefield.
Yep.
That's a huge deal.
Indecisiveness, and again, indecisiveness, and if there's anything, and maybe we can tie this together because we're going to be talking about a lot of things. One of the things that Trump is not is indecisive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of the things that's going on with everything that we've been seeing ever since he became president, he is very decisive. That doesn't mean that everything he's going to do is maybe the best thing, but at least things are moving in a way that they've never moved before.
And and the poison that comes from that nonsense is unbelievable. I'll tell you a funny story. When I started looking for editors because our ministry was growing and growing and growing and growing. You remember this? We were going on a long search. There were a few editors that we came across. One came highly recommended to me by somebody that I admire and respect. And that guy looked at our work and said, oh, yeah, this is something I'd be interested in doing. And then when he looked at our YouTube channel, he said, I'm sorry, I can't do your work because I don't agree with what you're doing. I said, oh, that's interesting. You don't agree with what I'm doing. I said, can I ask you, what is it that you disagree with me on? He said, I disagree with your stand on trans. And that's how he put it. And he didn't say anything else. Then I said, okay, bridge burned anyway. But my statement to you, or my question to you is, are you a father? And he said, no, not married. He's not a father. I said, that's why. I get it.
Okay.
You don't have children.
You can allow yourself to have an opinion like that.
It's amazing. We have neighbors that have a couple of children of a tender age that proudly display a trans flag in front of their house. Okay. Look, my thing on that is, and it's my opinion, you will never be interacting with my children ever because you're exploiters. Anybody who would support the mutilation of children belongs in jail.
will we see a change? I mean, what we've been seeing in the last couple of years has been a move towards that direction. Will this election and everything that we're seeing resulting from this be like a movement? Have we gone over the top of the hill and we're kind of heading back down?
I think to a degree, yes. And by no stretch of the imagination would I ever encourage on any level violence or the mistreatment of or anybody who identifies himself in that category. I'm just saying that there are people that need help.
Again, I can understand that there are people who need help. I can understand that people see things differently. I mean, human beings have always had whatever. But as a society, as a culture, as a government, as an institution, we have been, how do you say, appeasing and letting this grow. And just like anybody who has a child, that if you allow something to grow,
Yep.
okay, and you don't deal with it from the beginning, it becomes a much, much bigger problem. And I think to a certain extent, that's what's happening, to a point where it's become ludicrous.
Oh, yeah.
Now the question is, has not the personal way that we react to people, but as an institution, as a culture, have we changed direction?
Yep. Yeah.
And that's
I don't know. I think it's too early to tell, but I think there's a great indication that we're changing direction because of the very large mandate that we see in the election of President Trump.
yeah, but there still are a lot of institutions, including the
Oh,
Ministry
sure.
of Education. I was talking to Christy, about that the other day, including the new Oscars. I don't know if you heard about the new
Oh.
movie that's going to that's how do you say has been brought up for the Oscars about a South American drug lord who decides that he wants to be a woman.
I
And,
just,
and everybody's all excited. I mean, all of Hollywood's all excited about it. And it's played by a trans man.
I
I mean, that's ludicrous. I mean, we know what we're talking about.
oh, 100%. 100%. It's such a broken, we live in a literally broken world. And it's such a just a terrible mess. Pookie, let me read some of your comments, bro. Thank you. You say,
Oh.
Pookie here. Let me say Bibi Netanyahu is the first to hook up with Trump. Just warms my heart, and I agree. Can they get in a game of golf? Bibi's not a golfer, is he?
No, by the way, I put up a YouTube video this morning, and it starts off with this: ladies and gentlemen, Bibi is in the house.
There you
Check
go.
it out.
There you go. All right. And then Pookie says, James, these rioters across the USA toting Mexican flags, let's put them in a plane over Mexico. Oh, I can't read that, Pookie. No. I get myself in trouble. I can't read that. Yeah, I'm listen, I'm going to just tell you this. I do not understand this nonsense. Pookie, you also ask James.
I do, by the way, I want to talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about
into that.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that these people walk in our freeways, blocking traffic, holding flags of another country, protesting, getting deported to that country because they don't want to go to that country, yet they're holding the flag of the country they don't want to go to.
I'm going to go. I'm going to
go to the country that you want.
Yep. I'm going to go in a little bit deeper because, again, Israel does have a little bit of this problem. We are a country of immigrants. Now, I say immigrants, we're all Jewish. But nobody in Israel is more than second, or most people in Israel are not more than second or third generation. And we come from very, very different backgrounds. Immigration, assimilation is always a problem for cultures, because somebody comes with his culture, with his food, with his language, with his whatever it is. And again, think about somebody who comes from Yemen, who is a goat herder, and somebody who comes from Moscow, who was a doctor of nuclear physics, and their kids are together in the kindergarten.
Yeah.
That's Israel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with all of the complexity.
Yep.
So we do have a complex issue, but here's the thing. when you come to Israel, you come to become Israeli. One of the things I've never understood in the United States is the people who come to the United States and say, we want to stay where we ran away from.
Yep.
We want that culture. We want that ideology. Now, I have no problem with language. I have no problem with food. I have no problem with culture. But I do have problem with you come to the United States because the United States makes living better than anywhere else in the world.
And you want to destroy that.
And then you want to move it back to the way it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand you being proud of your heritage, but really, does anybody really want to go back to Mexico?
Listen, look, there's lots of people that retire in Mexico. There's a lot of people that want to live in Mexico. Look, I get that.
Great.
But here's my thing. It's like, no problem. Just don't trash my country. Look, the thing is this. You are an insult. You people are an insult to men like David and my dad and women like my mom who came to this country because they wanted a better life, did it legally, and are proud of this country. By the way, did you hear that the president is about to sign an executive order with respect to deportation where they are going to focus?
Students?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful that they're going to deport foreigners that are students who choose to speak violently about Americans.
It's the common sense issue, not anything. I mean, if you come from a different country, they're deporting a Chinese national who was organizing Hamas rallies in one of the universities. I don't even remember which one. So if the United States of America says, yes, come learn in our universities, we'll give you a special visa, we'll support you learning and studying in our university, you come to be a part of this, okay? And then you use that visa to attack things that America holds dear. I mean, why? And why do we accept it and why do we allow it to happen?
I agree.
And finally, we've got an administration that says, no, this is not right. And hopefully that sense of logic, of common sense, will start to seep down into, and I'm watching the lefties going crazy.
Yep.
It's amazing to watch. I mean, he's acting like a bully to the rest of the world. What do you mean he's acting like a bully? I mean, if we are being taken advantage of by the rest of the world because nobody wants to stand up to him, finally we got somebody to stand up to him.
Yeah, I mean, look, this thing is ridiculous. It's not a hard issue to deconflict, to be honest with you. It's just absolutely obscene. Pookie, let me read your last one. You say, James, have you seen recent Mikey Winger interviewing Wes Huff? I watch a lot of Mike's videos. Mike is somebody that when he first started ministry, he worked with me and served with me, and somebody that I am honored and blessed to say I had a hand in discipling him a little bit, Mike Winger.
Okay.
He's a great man. He's a man of God, total man of God. I love him, and I respect him immensely.
Who's Wes Huff?
Wes Huff might be, in my opinion, amongst some of the younger guys, might be one of the smartest, well, let me just say this, one of the most respected textual critics. He's more an ancient historian than that. And the first time I heard of Wes Huff was several years ago. And it may have been Mike Winger, by the way, that introduced me to Wes Huff. I don't remember, but he is a phenomenal guy. He's a wonderful man. He does not really have any real stands or understanding on eschatology, but that's not his field, and he'll say it. Like, that's not his thing. He has a different perspective.
Well, I know people like that.
Oh, come on. But here's the thing about him. He's an incredible guy. He's smart. He's incredibly humble. He has a heart for the lost. He's very gifted at what he does. He handles recognition well. I just love him. And by the way, Mike Winger is another one of those guys that I just think is an amazing young man. Like, I'm very, very proud of Mike Winger. I'm proud of what God's done in him and through him. And Mike might recall this, but I used to tell him on a regular basis that God's going to do great things through him.
You know, he's hiccuping right now.
Huh?
You know, he's going, like that. Hiccuping.
Yeah, Mike's probably not hearing me. Mike's busy.
No,
he doesn't watch my videos.
Jewish tradition says when you talk to somebody, talk about somebody behind their back, they hiccup.
Oh yeah, well he's hip. Then I talk about Mike a lot. I have a lot of respect for Mike, and I'm very proud of Mike. Mike is guys like Mike encourage me in the ministry that I do because it makes me think that I actually have had an effect on people.
Cool.
So I really appreciate the work that God has done through Mike and continues to do through Mike.
That is fun to
I'm very proud of him. I think Mike is a wonderful man, and I think that Mike has a very solid head on his shoulders when it comes to the scriptures. And for a guy that never went out and got a formal education, he can run miles around guys that have PhDs.
Can I make a quick change of direction?
Now, Wes has a formal education, and he's just a completely different thing. Yeah, and then one other quick thing. And Pookie, I don't know what you're talking about from the bishop, canceling money from the bishop that should be in prison. I'm assuming I don't know. Can you maybe elaborate on that for me? And then maybe I can make a comment on. There's so many things Trump has done that I've lost track.
No, it's basically amazing. And again, we're going to have to see how this plays out in the long run. I mean,
certainly.
It's starting to accumulate. It's starting to kind of come together.
Oh, yeah. And then Just Me, you say, I love to listen to you both. God bless you from Idaho. We love you. Thank you. You guys are amazing. You're a blessing. And then...
remind me to tell you I have a connection to Idaho one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'd be interested to hear that.
I can't say this on open air.
And then Tweeter Trash. That's such a funny name. But Tweeter Trash, I gotta talk about Tweeter Trash for just a second. I'm a pro poster who's poor but coming back to bless you, Pastor James. I type in all caps because I'm half blind, and you speak in all caps. Woo! Okay, let me say this about Tweeter Trash.
Do you know who that is?
I don't know who it is. I just started an account on Twitter. X, is it?
Yep. And
I don't know who you are, but you're such a blessing because that person reposts a bunch of my stuff.
Yeah.
And can I just say I just love you because some of the stuff you post is very newsworthy and it's entertaining actually.
Okay.
So thank you, Tweeter Trash. I don't know who you are, but you're awesome.
You're repeating his name or her name.
Or his or her, I don't know. I appreciate that. And then Brad says, see, bro, James, it's not me that gets you. It's not just me that gets you in trouble. Yeah, Pookie had a doozy.
James,
I'm not saying that I disagree with Pookie.
James, do we want to start with the stupid people or the smart people?
How about we start, just for entertainment, how about we just start with the stupid people?
Wait a minute. Before you do that, I want to change her name. We're not going to call her AOC. We're going to call her NIQ.
For no IQ?
Come on.
Listen, this is what happens when you take a bartender who's as stupid as the day is long and you make her a member of the House of Representatives.
Well, how about you take somebody who doesn't know how to spell eagles and you make them into the mayor of a major city?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, again, we keep on bringing people into the public sphere to be holders of very important jobs, not because they're competent, not because they're capable, not because they're able, but because of their color, gender, or their racial affiliation.
And she scares me because she is like a dark horse. People, for whatever reason, the people that have her following, I'm telling you, and she is heavily funded by some deeply demonic and evil people. She is not a good person.
Yeah, but the thing is that she is there. She's carrying the torch. By the way, did you see the Democratic convention balagan going on?
Oh yeah, bro.
Oh come on! I mean, if you want to laugh, bring some of that.
Them running for whoever wants to oversee the basically the leadership in the DNC.
Yeah. Did you see some of the
lady? Did you see that
the
crazy
one with
lady
the
that just
eyelashes?
sung?
The one with the eyelashes?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have nothing against eyelashes, but again, if that's the main, if you want to run a major Democratic Party, again, this is what we're.
It's a perfect fit. This is the same party that, never mind. I'm just going to get myself into. This is the same party that wants to put tampons in boys' bathrooms.
Somebody stood up there and said, now we have to elect somebody who is trans neutral because we've elected 2 men and we've elected 2 women and we have to have a balance. And now we have to decide basically by gender. And somebody else got up there and talked about, I've been a victim and I'm African.
That's the one.
Latino.
That's the one that started singing. And she stunk. She was a terrible singer. At least be a good singer.
And then somebody gets up and says, I'm a black woman. You have to listen to me because I'm a black woman.
Oh, yeah.
And again, didn't they see or didn't they know or didn't they hear what was going on? And again, I mean, if that's going to continue on that side,
bro, it's bad.
J.D. Vance is going to be president on this side.
Oh, and listen, we can only hope that they keep doing their stupidity.
Yeah. I mean, keep at it.
That's what I say.
I mean,
I say keep up your stupidity.
Okay, so I'm going to do something that I've learned from the other side of the aisle. We don't clap because it makes a problem, so we go like this. So I'm going like this to all the Democrats. Keep on going.
Oh my gosh!
This is woke applause.
This girl is a perfect example of stupidity. And how sin makes you extraordinarily stupid. If you want a good picture of what that looks like, you could watch this cuckoo. And then let me do this before we do it. Let me read Jackie Bird's comment. I'm a Canadian who understands the tariff threat. I wish we had a leader who looked after our best interests like Trump does for the U.S. Can you imagine a Canadian saying that? You want to know why she says that? Because she represents an overwhelming majority of the people in Canada, because some of the smartest people alive are Canadians.
We're going to see more of this from the rest of the world. We're going to see more and more people who are going to say to their leadership, we want you to be leadership like Trump is leadership. We're going to see that from the Europeans, and I'm starting to hear from some of the things I'm hearing from the Europeans. I don't know if you know who Douglas Murray is and who Konstantin Kisin, okay, from trigonometry, are saying things like this. This is the kind of leadership the world needs to get back to, and not this mishy-mushy, wishy-washy kind of leadership that we're talking about that she represents and they represent more than anything.
Yeah, Look, I'm going to just say this, okay? I don't know how anybody can even find her attractive.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure she's got a a geek squad or a fan group behind her.
Look, she does. That's why That's why I call her the dark horse. She has a massive following. I just don't understand it.
We need to talk about the tariffs, though. Let's not forget.
We'll talk about tariffs in a minute.
Okay. Get her.
And the Canadians are smart to be concerned because Trudeau may be one of the dumbest men alive, or women. I don't know.
Sometimes we're not sure.
I know he's worn high heels before. Let's go ask Fidel Castro. Let's just find out. He'll tell us if she was born a woman or a man. I don't know.
So let's get an IQ. Tell me what.
And it's appropriate for me to read Mama Jean's comment before I play this video. The comment is, may God grant the less intelligent some wisdom to see the burden upon the world.
Again,
God bless you, Mama Jean.
I'm doing woke applause.
No, I'm going.
Woke applause. Woke applause.
I'm clapping.
Ugh.
I'm clapping. All right, here we go. The dumbest female. Oh, I gotta fix the camera angle because it only shows me. There we go.
There we go.
The dumbest female to ever walk through the doors
who's dumber?
Of the Capitol building. The only female dumber than her would be the press secretary, the former press secretary, the press secretary of the Biden administration.
Oh, whatchamacallit?
Oh. She may not have achieved the IQ of my shoe size.
The one that kissed the frog and the frog actually became, her. I mean,
I don't know. She's a cuckoo.
Yeah.
Her very first day as press secretary, she brags about being black, lesbian, and whatever. It's crazy. Have you seen? You've seen the current press secretary?
Oh yeah.
She's a fireball.
She's doing a
Oh,
great
I
job.
love her.
She's doing a great job. She has a fan group that is growing right now.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Wait a minute, just to finish that, okay? And the first time I saw her on TV, I saw her wearing a cross around the neck.
Ugh.
I mean, finally. I mean, just that. Just that.
She's impressive.
No, but what I'm saying is maybe we've gone over the hump.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Okay.
We'll see. There's been a bit of a mandate, but we'll see. All right. Brace yourself, everybody.
NIQ.
Miss Neek. Hit it.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires.
Oh, by the way, I should probably give you some background on this, and I'll raise the volume a little bit so that you can hear her stupidity more. The topic of conversation by Miss Alexandria Cortez, which isn't even her real name, I believe. But anyway, the topic of conversation with this genius, with this super genius, is Elon Musk. She is talking about Elon Musk. She's not talking about Joe Biden.
Which I could understand.
Okay? She's not talking about Mark, what's his name? The guy who is the owner of the Shark Tank guy? Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
She's talking about Elon Musk.
Okay. That's
I mean, Elon Musk. Okay, here we go. Let the genius talk.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed. Which, you can probably...
Wait. She picked up the laugh from Kamala. She picked up the laugh from Kamala.
Bro.
That is a Kamala laugh. That is a Kamala laugh.
Yeah. Let's rewind it so you could take it all in its entirety. This is what the House of Representatives has. It has people like this. Mark Cuban. Thank you, not Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg is a great actor. I don't know why I said Wahlberg. Gosh, I have to go back and correct myself.
She wanted to be Speaker of the House.
Yeah. Thank you guys for correcting me in the chat. It's Mark Cuban, not Mark Wahlberg.
There we go.
What's wrong with me? I have to go back and... Why? I just insulted Mark. I like him. He's a great actor. Why did I put him down? It wasn't him that I was meaning. I know, I feel bad about that because it's like, it's insulting a good guy. Well, I mean, I like his acting. I mean, and he's a pretty conservative guy. He's a Catholic. I don't think he likes the Pope. Maybe he does. I don't know. Mark Cuban, that's who I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
Oh, Kamala, I love you, Kamala. That's Mark Cuban.
Well, listen to the laugh.
Here we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Hilarious.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen or witnessed. Which, you can probably even glean that from watching these people on TV. Anyways, all of that is to say is that they don't...
And did you notice the video was actually edited? So she can't even argue the fact that, well, I did this on a whim and I was a victim of my passions or whatever.
They turned down the laughing a little bit.
Maybe. Okay, here we go. Let's watch Superwoman.
Don't do their homework. Clearly,
they don't do their homework.
That is to say, is that they don't do their homework. Clearly, they're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury.
Okay, can I just ask this question? Do you think this crazy woman has ever done homework a day in her life?
No, she had to get. Do you need to be certified to run a bar in the United States?
No. She would not ever. She probably never passed the test to become a bartender, even though she was one. I'm just saying. She's never done homework a day in her life. Okay, here we go. That is a perfect picture of her right there. Look at her. She looks like she's under the influence in that. So that's her right there. I don't even want to make comments on the whole, I didn't say this, but now I'm going to get mean. I don't want to get mean.
Don't get mean.
Because she's more attractive than I am for sure, at least physically. But still. She kind of reminds me of Mr. Ed. I said it. I can't believe I said it. I said it. You know who Mr. Ed is? I'm
not sure.
The horse.
Ah.
When he talks and the horse would talk, you see his big old teeth coming out. Right? I'm so... Look, there's going to be people that are going to make fun of me now. People are going to be like, James, how could you be so mean? I'm just saying. She reminds me of Mr. Ed.
She is mean, though.
But she reminds me of Mr. Ed. No way. Michael, she really does? She has a degree in economics from Columbia? No, bro, we got to fact check that. She didn't get her degree by her brains or her work. There's no way. If it didn't come out of your mouth, Michael, I wouldn't have believed it. Woo! Holy smokes. Michael, can you fact check that for me? He's one of my researchers anyway. He knows how to do all that. Yeah, Twitter trash, you're right. It doesn't mean anything. You're right. Holy smokes. Okay, all right, Mike's going to fact check that for us. Okay, let's watch Mr. Ed.
This dude is not smart.
That's what I'm going to call her, Mr. Ed.
This dude
is not smart. Wait, can we get this straight? The guy who saved the space program for the United States of America, the guy who builds the first rocket that can take off and land on its own.
The guy who's got a satellite network
that is bigger than anything we've ever seen in world history. The guy who has done more to further AI technology than anybody in the world. The guy who makes vehicles that drives for half of Southern California. You could call him a lot of things. You can't call him stupid. Come on, Mr. Ed.
Well, she did.
I think Dean has a good point. He's right. He says there are multiple ways to earn a degree.
Or a job. You can ask Kamala Harris how that works.
Look at that. Brad, who's also one of my researchers, has confirmed it. She has a degree of... Okay, is it home ec? Is it home economics? I'm sorry, I have to ask. We have to dig into that. Is it home ec? Does she have a degree in home ec? Holy smokes. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, here we go. Let's finish her brilliant assessment of Elon Musk. I always think it's attractive when she says, this dude. You can see the real Mr. Ed in her face come out when she says, dude.
They're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury. This dude is not smart. And the danger in the lack of intelligence and the lack of expertise.
Look, I just can't deal with this. If there's anybody you cannot match up the phrase lack of intelligence and lack of expertise, you cannot say that about Elon Musk. Can I give you just an idea of how much expertise Elon Musk has in the subject of economics alone? He sat down with his board at Tesla and SpaceX, and he said, I will not take a dime in compensation for this board for 5 years. But the deal is, at the end of 5 years, you need to compensate me. I think it was like $60 billion or something like that. But how about the fact that the board agreed to that, and he made the company way more valuable than the piddly $65 billion or whatever he received. This is a guy who comes to the United States of America on a work visa. Okay? He has nothing. And he is arguably the richest man in the world. He is probably within the next 2 years going to be worth $1 trillion. And you say he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to economics?
There's something deeper, but let's see what she has to say.
But she's a literal whore. The reason why, no, I'm serious. The reason why she has the money that she has may not be because she gave herself up sexually, but because she sold herself.
Her integrity?
Her integrity, her soul, everything to the devil so that she could put more money in her own pocket and do whatever it is that she wants. And you're accusing a guy who came to this country, not even as a U.S. citizen, becomes a citizen.
Who is a symbol of the American dream.
Yeah, who busts his tail and is the reason why she has national security. There are people in North Carolina and in Los Angeles that would not be able to do their jobs if it were not for Elon Musk. And you could say whatever you want about Elon Musk, but whatever you do you don't have the grounds to call him unqualified, unintelligent, or incapable.
Or stupid.
I mean, if you want to talk about stupid, holy freaking smokes.
She's making a laughingstock of herself.
And her party.
There you go.
And all the Mr. Eds like her.
Here's the thing. Please, lady, continue. Be the person that all the stupid people vote for.
I would agree.
Please, keep on doing this.
You too, Dean. You're a researcher too, so there you go, bro. How about that? I put you all in the same category. Look, these guys that I call researchers, I just want to make myself clear, they kind of have to be because they can't bring stories to me that aren't vetted.
Oh.
They work very hard to make sure that the stuff that they bring is legitimate.
So she does have a degree.
I think it's in home ec. It has to be home ec. It can't be regular economics.
But she was a bartender.
Look. I'm telling you, bro, it has to be home economics. I think Columbia has a home ec. It's like a African lesbian home economics. I think they have something like that.
I'm curious to know what degree. What her degree is in.
Some kind of weird, is something like that. Anyway, she's perfectly qualified for The View.
Yeah, she will be on The View at some point. You'll wait and see.
She's perfect for them.
They're gonna fire Sonny from The View.
Oh, no kidding. So Pookie's saying Bishop Miriam Budd, who's that whack job that got up in the cathedral, who collected $53 million from government programs in 2023 from immigrant programs. No way. So Trump is bringing her multi-million-dollar payday to an end. That's why. Oh, wow. Wow, Pookie. I did not know that.
What's he doing?
Holy smokes. Oh, my goodness. Woo! I'll have to talk about that. That's probably the USAID thing that's going on.
Partly.
Okay.
That Elon has, and the danger in the lack of intelligence and the lack of expertise that Elon has. I mean, this guy is one of the most morally vacant, but also just.
Can I just say this? As she calls him morally vacant. Can I just make this comment? Do you know the whole reason why Elon Musk jumped on the side of Donald Trump?
No.
He refers to it as the death of his son. Or not the death, he says the loss of his son.
Interesting.
He has 12 children.
Yeah.
Okay? The son that he has got taken away by this whole trans nonsense.
Ugh.
And Elon got advised by the experts, the so-called experts, to do some things that made his condition worse by supporting the delusion.
Yeah.
And Elon is like, I will make sure I do everything in my power.
This doesn't happen.
Yep.
I hear that. I totally hear that.
If it wasn't for Elon Musk, we wouldn't have the freedom of speech that we have right now in many of these forums. We'll just leave that be. So, of course, she's mad at him.
Because because
She
the
can't
people
sell
who
herself
vote-
anymore.
Because the people who voted for her are the people who don't see it that
Yep.
way.
Yep.
Okay.
And Mr. Ed is mad. Mr. Ed is ticked off. Okay, here we go. Is there a donkey version of Mr. Ed?
I don't know.
I have to look for the donkey
You're
version.
outside my cultural realm.
You know what? We'll call her Mrs. Edith.
I like NIQ.
Oh, man. James, speaking of Alex Ocasio-Cortez, I have a rare photo of her with some guy picking her up. Oh,
Careful what you
gosh.
say.
Yeah, I can't. That's terrible. It's terrible. Okay, here we go.
Intelligence and the lack of expertise that Elon has. I mean, this guy is one of the most morally vacant, but also just least knowledgeable about these systems that
Least knowledgeable. Morally vacant and least knowledgeable. Morally vacant, says Mr. Ed, who wants to kill a baby in the womb, who hates Israel, supports Palestine.
She's out there. She is out there.
And it's pretty rich to say doesn't understand the systems.
Again, the problem is not that she's like that. The problem is that she's got enough people holding her up from underneath. That's the problem. When you start laughing like that,
I gotta
get
look.
worried.
I gotta look up Wonky Donkey. Virginia, just tell me about Wonky Donkey. Oh, okay. So her bios on the House website says Boston University with a degree in international relations and economics. See, that makes more sense. International relations and economics. It's not. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Let's get her. I need to.
She
see how
knows
she
nothing
answers.
about international relations.
There you go.
Have you heard her watch the when she answered on the Israel thing?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, occupied territories. What are the occupied territories? Well, I'm not a specialist.
We'll play that for fun. We'll
We're
play
not a
that. Yeah, we'll
specialist.
play that for fun. That's a hilarious one to play. It shows just how brilliant she is.
we really know of.
Let me get
But
some
the-
context on that.
About these systems that we really know of. Just least knowledgeable about these systems that we really know of. But the point is that what that means is that they're going to hit a button inevitably. They are going to hit a button and things can go sideways.
Yeah, but my problem is not her. My problem is not how she is. My problem is not that. My problem is, James, the fact that there are thousands of people who listen to this stupidity and agree with it and accept it because she said it. Maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people, I don't know, who now think that Elon Musk is an idiot because this idiot said it. Now, that's the problem, I think. Not the fact that she's there, not the fact that she's been put in power. I mean, humanity has put stupid people in power down through the ages. We've dealt with this on a regular basis. I think it's that one, yeah.
Yeah, this is my all-time favorite one. Talk about unqualified, and with some international relations degree. Let me just show you how brilliant Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is. Are you ready? Let me show you her sheer genius.
But I am, of course, the dynamic there in terms of geopolitics and the war in the Middle East is very different than people expressing their First Amendment right to protest.
Well, yes, but I also think that what people are starting to see, at least in the occupation of Palestine, is just an increasing crisis of humanitarian condition.
You monkey. In the occupation of Palestine, Mr. Ed, and by the way, this is years before October the 7th. Mr. Ed running her jaw This may have been before she was actually elected. When she was
No,
campaigning.
No, I think she was already elected here.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Ed. Wonky donkey.
And that to me is just where I tend to come from on this issue.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just
There's a perfect picture of Mr. Ed right there. Listen to her answer when they say, can you expound on that?
How come these people are supported? How come these people are accepted? How come we're seeing more and more? And again, the DEI, she is a DEI.
Oh, she's the perfect example.
She is a DEI appointee, nominee, call it whatever you want. She is somebody who was selected not for capabilities or abilities or her intelligence, but selected because what she represents.
No, she's not ignorant, bro. She's ignorant. I mean, bro, it's bad. Okay, here we go. Let's listen to how she answers this, because how she answers this is brilliant. Good job, Mr. Ed. Oops, here we go.
Experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just, I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue.
I think I'm not the expert on geopolitics, even though I'm going to make a profoundly sweeping statement with respect to an issue that I have no understanding
to a geopolitical
concerning
issue.
Defending a people group who would literally take my life the second I stepped into their city.
Why is she so far up the pyramid as she is? Why are so many people so far up the pyramid that they are?
Should we speak in Spanish regarding her?
No, I mean...
Ocasio Cortez tienes puras problemas. That's why.
I don't even know what
she's got lots of problems. She's a cuckoo.
Yeah, but again,
Mr. Ed.
I saw the election of the heads of the Democratic Party the other day, and people are being raised up not because of what they bring, not because of what they do, but because of who they are. And again, this is DEI in its most terrible form. It's not about what you can do. It's not about what you're capable of, what your abilities are. It's about what skin you wear and who do you look like? I mean, do you remember the chief, the fire chief from LA saying, people want to see somebody who looks like them.
Yeah.
And she's there because people want to see somebody that looks like them. Now, why is what somebody looks like has become so important in our culture? That's what's important. That's why. And I think, and everybody thought it was going that. Now, what Trump has done is he's switched because he's orange. I mean, it's not about what he looks like. Okay, we know that. But he's actually said it's
he's
enough.
Kind of orange, isn't he?
He is. He's called the Orange Man.
Never heard that before, but yeah, he kind of
is kind of orange. So it's not about what he looks like.
Thank God he's in the White House right now. Thank you, Jesus.
We were close.
I don't care if he was.
We were close.
I don't care if he was purple.
We were really, really close, James.
Jada, thank you, sweetheart. You're always so generous. Thank you. Yeah, bro. I know.
Okay.
I know.
So this is DEI. Connect that to the crash.
Okay, so I don't know if I can connect it to the crash right now. The president made a comment about DEI when the crash happened. I don't know if he was referring to the air traffic controller or something regarding the tower. I can tell you that the standards have been lowered quite a bit in the military. The one thing that I know that he is talking about, which is something we know for a fact, by the way, Sherry, thank you so much. You say hello. I just joined the video. Love both of you, brothers. Lots of love to both of you and your families. Thank you so much. And Jada, thank you so much again for your generosity. My guess is the reference that Donald Trump was making was the fact that there was a freeze that was put on hiring air traffic controllers if they were white. They were told, if you're white, don't apply. We want people to apply who are black because they say that, let me just tell you how stupid the reasoning is. The reasoning is, if I have a percentage of air traffic controllers, and let's just say I have 100% of air traffic controllers, okay? And so what we'll do is we'll look at the statistics on how many people fly on airplanes. So let's say 70% of the passengers are white, 12% of the passengers are black, 5% of the passengers are Hispanic, and the remaining 12% of the passengers are Asian or wherever else. The reasoning behind this insane White House is what we have to do because of that is we have to make 70% white air traffic controllers, 12% black air traffic controllers, and we might up the 12% to 20% because of reparations. And the idea here is we need to have black people representing. Okay, what a stupid argument. You know where that argument might work?
In the NBA.
Not even in the NBA. Forget that.
In the NFL.
No. Let me tell you where that argument will actually might work. If you have a hairstylist that has no experience working with hair, the hair of black folks, it's probably a better idea to go to a hairstylist that does. But even then, you don't have to be black to get that.
Okay, I want to go down.
That's my point is it's just ridiculous. So what happens is with this hiring issue, they're willing to let people of other color in, including people with mental slowness, learning disabilities, all that.
Why is this happening, James? Where is the core?
The devil. That's it. Listen,
okay,
that's
but
what it is.
What is the devil using to manipulate this and
Marxism? It's control. It's power. That's what it is. And by the way, for the record, these same people who make these rules will make dang sure that when they fly, none of these DEI people will be involved.
But what are they trying to do? They're trying to create. I mean, it seems like a kindergarten teacher has, different kids, and some of the kids run faster, and some of the kids run slower, and she feels very bad for the kids that run slower. So she says, "Okay, all the kids that run slower get a head start." I mean, why does she do that? Why is she doing that?
You're not supposed to. And then on the air traffic control problem. Like, that truly is an area where you can't have idiots running it. If you have idiots running it, you have planes that are crashing. So what happens is they hire these guys on that are incapable. Then those guys sit there at their desk and do nothing, while the real guys who are truly capable now take on double the work because they don't have anybody backing them.
But we're seeing more and more. We see that in Boeing with the door that fell off. We see that in L.A. Fire Department with the deputy police fire chief.
If I have to pull you out of a building, you shouldn't have gotten in there in the first place.
I'm here because of what I look. We're seeing it more and more. Again, I'm going back to the kindergarten. Somebody is saying we want the kids that run slower to feel better about themselves. So we're going to push them into being on the top. I mean, again.
Which, by the way, can I just tell you this right now? If you want a kid to feel better about themselves when they're not excelling, the worst thing to do is to put them in the front of the line just to compensate for their incapacity. Because all you'll do is make them worse in the long run. If you want a kid to feel good and you want a kid to develop self-worth, You teach them that they are in the place that they're in because they have not done what was necessary to achieve the higher place. And then you make them work to get to the higher place so that when they get to the higher place, they can feel good about the fact that they got to that place because they did the work to do it. That's how my dad raised me. You don't like the result?
Change it.
You think you're not running fast enough in the baseball game, or you think lose weight?
Change it. Change the situation.
Do something about the situation.
Somebody stood up at the Democratic Party, whatever, and says this: I am here because I am Afro-Latino or Latino-Afro, and I am non-binary. And that's why you have to vote for me.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, okay, what have you done? He says, I was victimized when I was 18. So here's the thing. That is his credentials to be a part of a political system, okay? And again, we're losing something. It is the kindergarten teacher saying, we want these young kids not to feel bad. And here's the thing, okay? It's all about feelings.
Oh, 100%.
The reason that people have supported her because she makes people feel good. Somehow she does it. Somehow she gets these people to feel good. And when they feel good, it doesn't matter what she says. It doesn't matter what she does. She basically feels good. And that's why we're becoming a culture of how we feel. We could go into the tariffs if you want to, but the people who are against it because it doesn't make them feel good.
That's right.
And the people who were against what President Trump did with Colombia because it doesn't make them feel good. Okay, it doesn't feel good to put pressure on another country. We're being a bully. And it's what we've become is a country of feelings, okay, which is why she makes people feel good. Even if she's an idiot, she makes them feel good. Why has that become such an issue for us?
What scares me, and this is what scares me, is she's not the kind of idiot that everybody says she is. She does what she does purposefully, and she does it consequentially. Now, mind you, I do think that she lacks some of the intelligence to be able to truly understand and process many of the things that we're talking about here, but she has literally brought this into play through the people that pay for her and fund her to be able to do it. By the way, Jada, thank you again. Can we talk about this thing with this air traffic situation? Look, the reason why this crash happened was because the pilots made a bad decision. I'm not talking about the jet pilots. I'm talking about the chopper. The chopper. I'm talking about the Army pilots. They were told that they needed to travel at an altitude of no higher than 200 feet. At the time of the collision, they collided between 300 and 325 feet AGL. That's the first thing. And when I say AGL, that means above ground level. Typically, you'll hear two acronyms. You'll hear AGL or you'll hear MSL. MSL means mean sea level. Okay, so we're talking about above sea level. Matter of fact, it's interesting. Interesting fact about Israel, when you are at Masada,
yep,
and you see an airplane flying at eye level,
yep,
okay, it's the only place in the world where you can fly 1,000 feet AGL while at the same time flying 100 feet MSL.
Or less.
Not even, no, yeah. As a matter of fact, you can actually, in order to achieve 100 feet MSL, you have to be flying at 1,700 feet AGL. So if you see them flying at 1,000 feet AGL, they're actually still flying
300
feet below negative 300 feet below sea level.
Yeah. I mean,
negative 300 MSL.
The altimeter, like in the movies, it goes down. You're supposed to hit zero. It goes down under the zero.
Yeah, well, they have to adjust the altimeter based on barometric pressure that is actually very inconsistent in that area. So a couple of things happen if they collided at that. Number one, they could have not adjusted their altimeter correctly because every airport has a specific altimeter adjustment that needs to be made for the altimeter based on barometric pressure. Yep. Now, there are newer technologies that adjust that automatically based on
satellite?
Based on satellite.
GPS.
Some people now are doing it based on AI because if the GPS doesn't pick up the correct location, then the altimeter setting could be set incorrectly. And I don't think that the FAA allows you to automatically set the altimeter still. So that's one thing. The second thing is this. The second thing is that helicopter should have never asked the air traffic controller for the ability to deconflict with their own vision. They should have never been able to do it. You cannot say that you have acquired the airplane 6 miles away at night on a busy night when you have limited vision, not only through your goggles, but even more limited vision through the window of your helicopter. You're not pitched even. You're pitched down. You have the visibility completely blocking you. You're asking the tower to be able to deconflict by your own vision because you don't want to be subject to the rules of the tower because you're in a rush to go because you're doing a check flight. All the holes in the Swiss cheese lined up.
James, you got to read this because this connects the DEI to what we were talking about.
This is the super chat?
Yeah.
Okay, waiting on the Lord. By the way, thank you. You say, God bless you both. Did you hear Shrek is coming out? Oh, man. Shrek is coming out with another movie and have decided to impose the DEI and hire a female actress to play Donkey. They called on Alex. Oh, man. That's hilarious.
I hear
They
that.
called on AOC. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I like the Cortex, not the Cortez.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay, so
That's cute.
I like the way Pookie spells Karen DeBass. Welcomes Lindsay Horvath an upside down cross around her neck, just like the piece of jewelry. Whilst a news, oh my goodness.
Who?
We'll talk about that offline. What a mess. I'll have to go find that.
Okay.
Ay, Pookie.
By the way, back to the here and now. Trump just signed the executive order that reinstalls the harshest sanctions against Iran. Okay.
Oh, that he did that right now?
Before
his meeting with
right before the meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu.
You know it's about to go down.
Yeah. So that's.
I want everybody to hear this first. It is 12:27 Pacific Standard Time. I think they meet
in 2 hours.
In 2 hours from now?
I think 2 hours.
I think they meet in as a half hour from now.
11 o'clock Israel time, which is, half an hour.
Yeah, in a half hour.
Half hour from now.
Okay, so they're meeting in a half hour in exactly 33 minutes. And I'm telling you this right now, do not be surprised if Iran's nuclear facilities get bombed. I'm telling you, don't be surprised.
I have a feeling he's not going to do that, but I know that Iran actually put its whole Air Force of F-4 Phantoms, by the way, on alert, okay, during this week. So, I mean, it might be there. I want to tie something in together, though, that I think makes sense here.
I didn't know they had Phantoms.
They have leftover F4s. I mean, what do they have? They have leftover F4 Phantoms. They have leftover F5s. And they have a couple of F-14s. F-14 is, the swivel wing Top Gun dynamic. We saw them in the old one. But I'm going to say something else that I want to tie into what's happening now. I don't know if you know, but Yarden Bibas was released a couple of days ago. That's the father of the Bibas kids.
Yeah.
The fact that he was released and they were not means that they are probably not among us.
Alive. Yeah.
When those coffins come out, Israel's going to go berserk.
Oh, yeah.
Israel's going to go berserk. I have a feeling that what Trump is doing is putting something in place before that happens, because there's going to be a big mess in Israel when that happens.
Oh yeah.
And he wants to say, okay, this happened. Now we're on the next stage. And what they're sitting down in half an hour to do, and what they've been doing for the last couple of days, is trying to decide what is the next stage, what is going to happen now.
How many Americans are still pending?
I think there's 2.
Okay. How much do you want to bet that when it comes out that those Americans are dead, if it comes out that they're dead, it's going to be hell in the Mideast?
Oh.
That Trump is going to lose his mind. Thank you again, Jada. You're very generous.
So here's what I'm kind of figuring out. And I've been trying to figure out, the dynamic of what's going on. The 3 main issues that are going to be on the table is the hostages, the final, arrangement in Gaza, together with the mega deal and the Iran issue. A lot of people think that Bibi might give up on the hostages in order to achieve the other 2. And there's been a lot of talk about that. And
with Trump in the mix, man, it's so hard to tell.
So what is he going to pull off? I mean, what do you think he can pull off on this? What's the rabbit? I mean, I see the rabbits. By the way, another thing that he just now did is he doubled down on the Gazans need to leave Gaza.
Yeah, I knew he was going to do that.
He's doing it more and more.
Yep.
Now, do you understand what that means? I mean, do the people really understand what that means?
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't know. I fully understand the implications of it. I think that there's a lot of people that could stand to learn some of this.
We've talked about this. I mean, Gadi Taub, I think, brought it up. The only thing that would actually be something that the Palestinians and the Arabs and the Muslims in the world would see as a defeat or as something that hurts them is not thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of Arabs and Muslims being killed, because we've seen that happen all over the Middle East. Nobody really cares. It's not about starvation of Muslims, because we see that in Yemen and other places. Nobody really cares. It's not about the crumbling of the social system. Nobody really cares. The only thing that they care about is honor. And the only thing that will hurt their honor if you take land away from them.
Yep.
And what Trump is basically doing is move them out and give the land back to Israel. The whole Arab world is up in arms about this. You should see some of the cartoons I saw coming out of the Arab world the other way. Okay, I saw a cartoon of Trump pushing Arabs out of Gaza with a clock behind them, a wind, like he's a mechanical doll, that the winder has the X of Elon Musk's X on it. I mean, that's what the Arab world is saying, okay? And you get a little bit of that dynamic. But again, if he pulls that rabbit out of the hat, then everything is open, because the Muslim world is in a completely different place.
Well, and the Muslim world will turn on the Palestinians and no one will care. I mean, that'll be the case.
Is it enough for him to feed them? I mean, listen, he's closed down UNRWA. He's closed down, what do you call, USAID?
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. Okay? And basically, what is... I'm really, really curious to hear the press release this evening. This evening, we're going to find out what they're actually planning, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to hear, I mean, this is probably going to be one of the most pivotal conversations for anything in the Middle East.
I guarantee you.
That press release this evening.
I guarantee you that when they have that presser, whatever they say is going to be something that also involves MBS.
Oh, no, definitely. MBS is in here. MBS is in here. The Gulf states are in here. I'm curious to see how they kind of treat the Turkey-Syria issue. That's going to be in. Iran's going to be in. I mean, it's got to be something comprehensive that ties all of this together in some way.
I'm scared that the way that they're going to handle the Turkey-Syria thing is through the MEK. And I'm really scared about that.
The MEK.
The MEK. That's what I think.
The MEK, explain.
Yeah, the Mujahideen al-Khalq. And I'll tell you why. Because they are basically they are a Marxist cult that well, okay, look, I did a long video on it, and you guys should watch it. Let me just say that. But basically, they are the tool that Trump's envoy is choosing to lean into, at least it appears to deal with the Iran problem, and while doing that, indirectly dealing with the Syria problem.
You mean the Kurds?
They don't want to work directly with Hayat al-Tahrir al-Shem. They don't want to do that. They certainly don't want to take sides with working with the Kurds, other than the Kurds that they're working with in Iraq, northern Iraq. They don't want to touch the Syrian side of the Kurds.
Okay.
The PKK route, although is an option, they don't want to go down because that option was tried by Obama and that failed miserably.
Totally.
That backfired in on so many levels.
And then again, Trump is saying, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't
want to be in the midst of it. But the MEK happens to be an organization that they see somewhat respectably to be able to be inserted into this, and in essence to solve a problem that they perceive as having without any type of basically by giving them deniable culpability. The problem is, and Donald Trump said it, Erdogan is way too smart. He's way too smart. He's not gonna. He's going to deal with the PK. He's going to deal very differently with the MEK than he did with the PKK.
Have we heard anything from Erdogan in the last couple of weeks?
No.
Nada.
And that's what tells me he's smart.
Have we heard anything from Syria in the last couple of weeks? Nada. Everything is they're keeping their heads very, very low, and they're waiting to see how this is going to play out. I mean, the whole Middle East is waiting to see what's going to happen tonight. Literally, I mean, we're at this.
And what Erdogan is doing relates directly to his view on Trump. Trump was no idiot getting up there early on as president saying and making it very, very clear right before he became president and then right after he became president that Erdogan is a smart man not to be underestimated.
Okay. So we'll leave Erdogan there, but let's go back to what somebody asked us before, and I want to kind of connect to that. There have been videos coming out of Sinai of tens of American-made M1 Abrams on the Egyptian side of the border with Gaza in Rafah. I don't know if you know, but we keep on talking about Rafah on the Gaza side.
Yeah.
The border between Gaza and Egypt literally splits Rafah in half.
That's right.
There's an Egyptian Rafah and there's a Palestinian or Gaza Rafah, and we saw some videos coming out of tanks literally inside the Egyptian side of Rafah, which is, by the way, a breaking of the treaty between Israel and Egypt. That is the peace treaty of the night after the peace agreement with them, which means that the Egyptians are freaked out about something.
100%.
The question is, what are they freaked out about?
I'm not going to call it freaked out. What I'm going to say is I'm going to say that El-Sisi is preparing for what he knows will become the inevitability of the matter that they're going to have to face with people going further south than the Philly corridor into the Egyptian side of Rafah. I think that he has two objectives right now in his mind that he has to be immediately concerned with. More than the Ethiopian issue, more than the little Somalia issue, more than the water problem on the Nile that goes further south into those countries.
Libya.
More than Libya, more than anything else, even more than Mediterranean security. The issue that is plaguing his mind right now is maintaining the terms of the peace treaty made in 1979 with Israel, while at the same time accommodating a very aggressive request from the United States of America, and doing both of those things without endangering some of the most important assets of Egypt. There's two assets that Egypt has that it needs to protect at all costs. The first one
Suez Canal
is the Suez Canal. Because even if the Suez Canal is inoperable, they still need it because that's their ticket to continue to receive subsidies from Saudi Arabia that will keep them floating in that region.
I think the way America is treating Panama, for instance, makes it very clear to the rest of the world that shipping is still an issue for the United States of America.
100%. The second issue, and perhaps the more significant of them, becomes Egypt's view of Sharm el-Sheikh. It's not just a beautiful tourist destination for people to stay in and vacation in. It actually becomes a very strategic area for them, as they learned from the 73 war. If there's one lesson that they learned from the 73 war, especially with what Ariel Sharon did with his tank regime, the one thing they must do at all costs for them is, within any context, protect that portion of the Sinai.
I am going to bring forward a theory, okay?
I want to hear this.
And
this will be interesting.
Just think about this, okay? Because if there are tanks on the Egyptian side of the Gaza border, that means that Egypt is afraid not of Israel. They have no fear of Israel. They're afraid of something happening in Gaza that will spill out to Egypt. Now,
That's my point.
Let me. No, I'm going somewhere else, and let me see if I can fill this up. Trump is saying move Gazans from Gaza into Egypt. The Arab world is saying no. The Egyptians are saying no. Saudi Arabia is saying no. I don't know if you know, but the Arab Council got together, all the foreign ministers, and said we're not going to accept this. But here's the thing: what would happen if the people in Gaza, who've been living in tents and have been, bombed from day one, just say enough is enough? America wants us in Egypt. Israel wants us in Egypt. We don't depend on Hamas, and enough of them get together in the thousands or the tens of thousands and just walk across the border to Egypt. Now, they tried to do that with Israel, and it didn't work. But what would happen now? Because the United States is saying this is what we want anyway.
Right.
Okay, what would happen now if enough Gazans get fed up with what's happening in Gaza and just decide to take their destiny into their own hands?
Well, that's the point. Look,
no, it's not going to be done by agreement. It's going to be done by the people of Gaza, actually, because Hamas doesn't want them to do it. Hamas doesn't want them to do it. That's one of the reasons they're saying.
Yeah, but that's my whole point, Habibi. My whole point is, if they're going to do that, the only way that they can do that, there's only one way. There's no other way they can do it. There's no other way they could take it upon themselves and go into the Egyptian side of Rafah. They can't walk there. They have a border wall that's bigger, much more consequential, and more significant than any of the Israeli side border walls.
No, they just break through the border crossing.
I'm telling you right now, the wall that they build there in Rafah is consequential. The new one, it's consequential. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. If there's any way they're going to do that, they're going to do that through the tunnel corridor that they made the mistake of protecting and maintaining open throughout the whole time that all of this is going on. Not to mention the fact that they have to, me and you are onto the same thing, they have to protect and in essence create a new DMZ out of Rafah, because it's the only way they can keep the Palestinians. And the bigger issue to Egypt isn't the Palestinians. To heck with the Palestinians in their mind. The bigger issue is Islamic Brotherhood.
Yeah, again.
That's the bigger issue.
But what I'm trying to say is this. Again, we keep on talking about moving the Gazans into Egypt as part of an agreement. I'm saying something else.
Yeah, no, they're going to force themselves.
I'm saying the Gazans are going to get fed up, and they're going to say, we will make this happen. And here's the thing. What they're hearing from Trump is, we have the backing of the United States to do this. And Egypt is saying, not on the hair of my chinny chin chin.
And Egypt knows something that Israel knows.
No.
And that Trump knows. And that's this. There's no way in the world that the United States of America is going to put at risk the existing treaty that stands between Egypt and Israel. And one of the major proponents of that treaty, thank God for Golda, because she's the one that put that into effect, in essence. Obviously, she wasn't the one that was there. She was, I think she may have died by the time they signed it. No, she died right after they signed it.
I'm still upset with Menachem Begin.
Yeah, well, come on.
That.
I mean,
we'll
there's a whole other dumb ball of wax there. He conceded to some things he shouldn't have, but that's a whole other story. And that, by the way, was pressure from
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter, and then there was a sick group of elitists that sat within what was the IDF at the time, the same think tank that led to the war in the first place.
You're talking about the 79.
Yes.
Okay, so just a quick, so people know what we're talking about. Israel made a peace treaty with the Egyptians in 1979, which basically says we're giving back the Sinai that was conquered in the 1967 war in return for peace. Part of what was conquered in the 1967 war was the Gaza Strip.
Yep.
And Israel agreed, Menachem Begin agreed, to accept a peace treaty with Egypt and not give them back the Gaza Strip. We tried to give them back. He tried to give the Gaza Strip part of it. And Anwar Sadat says, you want a peace treaty with me? I'm not taking the Gaza Strip. I'm only taking the Sinai. I think we should have put more pressure, because if it was Egypt sitting on the other side of the border in the Gaza Strip, the whole situation would have been completely different. But again, that's a quick.
Well, you wouldn't have had Palestinians in there.
No, I mean the Egyptians
they just wouldn't have allowed it.
The Egyptians know how to put down Arab, how do you say, Muslim Brotherhood dissidents. They've been doing it in Sinai, and they've been doing it in all over Egypt.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So as you said, and by the way, you said it eloquently, you said it perfectly. You put it in a way clearer way than I would have put it, and that was one of the core tenets of the peace treaty involves Egypt not having to deal with the obligation of not only the security of Gaza, but the internal politics of Gaza.
The militancy.
It's not there. It's not theirs. So there's no way in the world Trump would put that treaty at risk by forcing that condition.
But again, he just now repeated it half an hour ago. I mean, I literally got it up on my feed that he says that the Gazans have no choice but to leave Gaza. Yeah. And I'm saying to myself, how and what is he about to do?
I'm telling you, man, it's going to be one of these like Algeria things, or it's going to be where the MEK is hanging out. It's going to be something like that.
The Muslim world is going to explode like a Yellowstone volcano.
Maybe if Egypt and Jordan basically loses their minds and says, I'm not putting them here, and then begins to put pressure on other Arab countries, especially Sharia countries, to do it, and there'd only be three that they would put pressure on to do that, the Muslim world will shut their mouths very quickly. And I'm telling you, it's not what you think it's not what most people think it's going to be.
Okay, I'm going back to what I think I've said here last week, but let's see if could it be a ploy? Could it be Trump saying, wait a minute, if we don't reach some kind of other agreement that is to the benefit of Israel,
no, it's not a
ploy. This is going to be the situation. We're going to ship you all out of here.
It's not a ploy. Let me tell you what it is. This is Trump basically pushing the Overton window so that it becomes acceptable to, at some level, look at the idea of temporary relocation. What's going through Trump's mind, I guarantee you, what's very likely going through Trump's mind, and it's not a bad approach to take. I guarantee he's not being advised on it. This is probably him thinking this way. But what's going through his mind is they're going to get on board with some type of Israeli occupation, as they would call it, in one way or another, or they're going to have to get on board with moving on. The Palestinians are fighting at every bent to not have to be able to be put in a position to move on, because they know if they move on, they're going to get treated way worse than they've ever been treated in Israel.
Okay, but here's part of the circle that I'm trying to find out. Okay, what Saudi Arabia is saying very clearly, they said it again yesterday, there will be no normalization with Israel without a two-state solution.
And they keep saying that, but they don't believe that. There's no way that they believe that.
Well, here's the
MBS
thing.
would
By
not
the
be
way,
saying, I'm
they're
going to
not the
invest
only one.
but he wouldn't be saying, I'm going to invest $600 billion in the United States of America if the function or the condition of normalization solely rests on a two-state solution. These people say they don't want a two-state solution.
By the way,
Arabs don't even recognize the
Are we very
Palestinians
clear
as
on that?
Arabs.
Let's make this clear, James, because I think most Americans don't really understand. The Hamas, the Arabs, the fundamentalists, the Arab world does not want a two-state solution.
They don't even like using the words.
Okay, the Hamas has made it very clear, by the way, and the rest of the world. And every time you offer a two-state solution, I think I counted last time something like 6 or 7 times. Okay, they kept on saying no. You put a negotiation, two-state solution, and in the end they say no.
You know what their answer is? Their answer is bin bahr mahr.
Yeah.
That's their answer. From the river to the sea.
By the way, from the river to the sea is different in Arabic and in English. Do you know that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, because in English they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. How do they say it in Arabic?
We say from the Mahr al-Bahr, meaning like literally to the...
Palestine is Arabiya.
Yeah, Arabiya, of course.
Okay,
yeah.
They don't say it will be free. They say it will be Arab.
Yeah, that's right. But,
I mean that is a difference. If I say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, or I say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be Arab, these are two different statements.
Yeah, min bahr al-Palestine al-Arabiya. That's the phrase.
The Arab version of it.
Yeah, we know, but and also there's another Arab version of it, and that is we basically, I'll give you the English translation to it. You know, we're basically the way that it's phrased is, we're coming for Saturday, and then we're going for Sunday. And we're going for Sunday. Actually, they say we're going for Saturday, then we're going for Sunday. Meaning, we're going to eliminate the people who worship on Saturday, meaning the Shabbat, then we're going for the people that worship on Sunday, which doesn't mean America, it means Christianity.
Yeah. No, they have a problem with Christianity, just like, I mean, again, the Houthim are a good. What I like about the Houthim, I mean, again, we've got rockets fired from them, but I like it. They're like children. They're very, very honest about what they think. Okay? Death to America, death to Israel, Allahu Akbar, and and it's very, very clear.
Yeah. No, 100%. Let me look at this.
Uh-oh. Something happened?
Oh, yeah. Can I just do this? Because we've had a few, this is happening more and more because of how big our YouTube channel is.
Oh.
Guys, if you don't see a check mark by my name on YouTube, it's not me. And if you see that, then I'm just telling you this right now, report the channel. They're a fake channel.
We have a fake James Kaddis?
There's probably 15 of them. They pop up all the time, and people
Really?
ask for money, and it's terrible. So if you don't see a check mark by my channel, then you'll know it's not me.
Is he more handsome than you are?
They use my pictures. They make it look exactly like my YouTube channel. It's very, very sad, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and they're like legitimately trying to make money.
So I want to bring up something cute that came across my feed the other day. What do you think?
Okay.
Okay. Do you know what the Eurovision Song Contest is? Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they let that insane drag queen win instead of the Israeli who did the most beautiful singing.
Okay, so
it was ridiculous.
In a nutshell, it's a song contest where different countries from Europe come and perform a song. It's a contest, and in the end, there's votes, and the countries vote, and the judges vote, and it's a big thing. It's a really, really major issue in Europe. Everybody's all excited about it, and it's turned political. Okay, so 4 years ago, they kicked Russia out of the Eurovision.
Yeah, of course. It's their stupid. Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. Now Russia has put together a competitive song contest in Europe. Literally. I think it's going to call the Introvision or the Ultravision or something like that. And again, who are the nations who are being invited to Russia's song contest that's going to happen in Moscow next year? Iran is going to be represented there. And I think all of the BRICS countries. Now, here's the thing, and I'm bringing this as a half joke, but are the I'm going to say, are the battle lines being drawn right now between the U.S., Trump, the common sense mindset, and are we going to see another kind of Cold War with the BRICS and the non-aligned countries like we saw in the past? And I
Yeah.
was just bringing a song contest just as a connection to that. But are we seeing a polarization of this as we go along?
I look, it's just it's the same par for the course. I think that it's obviously a precedent has been set a long time ago. We're not walking away from that precedent. That precedent's going to remain the same, and they're going to utilize anything that they can to their advantage to be able to change the narrative with respect to what's happening within their own culture. And that's exactly what's happening. And I mean, honestly, like I would never, I'm not going to defend Russia by any stretch of the imagination, but do you blame them for how they're doing this?
No, but I'm asking questions like, okay, if that's the situation, is the United States, because Trump is on one side and Russia's on the other side, going to have a problem, let's say, with Brazil? Okay, or with other non-aligned. I can understand North Korea, I can understand China, but other non-aligned countries, I think, who else is part of BRICS? Isn't Mexico part of BRICS?
Uh, Mexico is not Mexico is not part of BRICS. But they are I forgot what they call them, but they are a recognized, like, associated, but they're not like an official BRICS member.
Okay, so
BRICS, last I checked, was 9 nations.
which brings me to the next. One of the ways that the United States is actually projecting its power is by the use of tariffs.
Yes.
Can you take a couple of minutes and explain to me what that means? How do tariffs work?
It's really simple. Tariffs is a tax, for lack of a better term, on items that are being produced that are used for export or import. Okay? So, for example, the President of the United States has the ability to impose a specific tariff on any item or group of items that he chooses to, for whatever reason he chooses to.
Okay.
So, for example, tariffs used to be, by the way, just so you know, prior to, I think I'd have to go back and look. I'm so like rusty on some of the con law that I remember. I think it was the 16th Amendment of the Constitution that actually allowed or put into law I got to go back and look. But anyway, it used to be, let me just simply say this, because I don't want to speak ignorantly. It used to be that collecting taxes in this country was illegal. You couldn't do it.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking about income tax. You just couldn't. It was not legal. The way that America made its money as a government was tariffs, the imposition of tariffs. Okay? This is a very debated issue, because the idea behind a tariff is, let's say you have $100 million worth of product that you're exporting to me every year.
Got you.
If I impose upon you a 20% tariff, then that means you're going to pay $20 million in taxes for the $100 million that you export.
I got you. And the American, it goes into the American...
which means the price, they're going to up their prices. And as they up their prices, then it means that people who receive those goods are going to have to pay a little bit more. If you don't pay more for the good, because now you want to go to somebody who's manufacturing it in the United States of America, you'll pay more for the manufacturing costs in America.
So when he says, I want to impose a 25% tariff on everything coming in from Canada,
Yep.
That's going to make our paper, for instance, which is largely imported wood from Canada, I guess, I'm thinking, okay, 25% more costly. So
maybe not that much. My
Okay.
guess is, based on the current GDP and what that means in terms of Canada's concern, it's going to amount to about 1.9% is what it's going to amount to. The one thing that okay, thank you, Mike. Mike just confirmed it for me. It was the 16th Amendment. My brain I have a lot of that memorized. Sometimes I just forget. I got caught up on the 10th Amendment recently. because somebody made a statement that I disagreed with, and I proved it, that the 10th Amendment hasn't been used at all in the last 100 years, and I found a case where it was
I have
used.
no idea what the 10th Amendment is.
The 10th Amendment basically deals with the housing of troops in a situation,
Okay.
basically. But anyway,
Let's go back. But Canada is going to be hit with 25% tariffs. Trump is doing it because he believes that Canada is not treating us correctly as far as...
because Canada is not protecting their border, which means they're allowing drug lords to come in. He doesn't like the trade deficit that exists with Canada right now. The trade deficit,
selling more to them than they're selling to us.
Well, it's not that we're selling more to them than they're selling to us. It has nothing to do with who's selling who. It has everything to do with which, by the way, they're selling way more to us than we are to them. Okay, we're buying way more for them than they're buying from us. That can create a trade deficit. The other thing can be through their VATs, that's in the European side, or the taxes that are paid, the tariffs that are paid. There's lots of ways that you can create a trade deficit. In other words, sometimes the competition isn't even. Now, the problem that you have here is that Canada is just being stupid and arrogant in making the assertion that they're making under their leader Trudeau. Trudeau, by the way, changed his mind, and Trump put a 1-month moratorium on those tariffs.
Yeah.
Because think about it. All of Canada's imports, if you take all of Canada's imports, 73% of their exports are sold to the United States of America. But just so that you know, that 73% of Canadian exports accounts for roughly, the number is like 3.2% of our total GDP. So if you were right now to remove all of Canada's export to the United States of America,
it wouldn't impact us.
It wouldn't impact us,
but it will,
not even close.
And the whole idea is that it will impact them much more,
substantially more.
Okay, and that's
that's
how he can put that kind of pressure.
Yeah. So the problem with because he just has raw power. The problem with Trudeau saying we're going to charge you another 25% in tariff, so we're going to retaliate by charging the Americans 25% in tariffs. What Trudeau basically said is this: hey, everybody in Canada, I'm going to retaliate against Donald Trump by basically eliminating any chance you'll ever have for competition in the future to sell to the United States of America. So an overwhelming majority of all of you people who have businesses that heavily rely upon relationships with the United States of America, I'm not only going to endanger you by allowing this 25% tariff to take place by the president, but I'm going to make it worse by imposing a 25% tariff myself, which will convince the market that wants to buy from you to not want to buy from you at all.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, one side is saying I want you to change something. The other side is saying I don't want to. And there's a slapping match.
No, the other side is not saying I don't want to. The other side is saying I don't like you, and because I don't like you, I'm going to put my nation at risk.
Okay, but here's the thing. And what it's going to come down to is a slapping match. Okay, I slap you and I slap me.
Which, by the way, Trump already won.
What I'm trying to think is, it seems to me, and I'm getting visual here. It's like a slapping match between AOC and Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Joe Rogan and Mr. Ed. That's right.
Okay, I mean, okay, everybody gets one slap, and let's see who's left standing after this.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Mr.
So
Ed's
basically,
go down.
That's what's going down. America is saying, okay, we want something to change. We want to change the how do you say, the deficit between our two economies, and if you don't make the change, we're going to get the tariff, and the Canadians will say, oh, we're a big country, we're going to give you the same tariff, just like Colombia did, by the way.
And then, I don't know if you know this, but some of these Democrats now are playing this video by Ronald Reagan, where Ronald Reagan basically says that the imposition of tariffs by the United States of America on its trade partners is actually one of the most dangerous things that can be done, and it's reckless behavior and blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
The problem with that is Reagan was wrong. At the time this was going on, you have to keep in mind the GDP of China, the total GDP of China floated somewhere around 1.9%. 1.9% of the whole world. China's output in the early 80s, I want this to compute in people's head, was not even 1.9, 1.3% of the entire consumption of the world's GDP. 1.3%. Ronald Reagan protects China from being hit with tariffs by the United States of America. We hit the fast forward button from the early 80s into 2024.
No, how much is the percentage?
China's percentage of the total world's GDP now is 19.8%.
How much is the United States?
Oh, this will make you sick. Are you ready?
Yep.
The United States of America's total GDP, world's GDP at the time of Ronald Reagan, from the best of my research for what I could see, was roughly 30% of the world's entire GDP.
And today?
Today, 25.8%.
We've gone down.
We've gone down. Japan has gone up. China has gone up
India.
8 times. India has gone up something like 14 times up. So, so when you look at this, you have to recognize the fact that policy is a broken policy. What Trump is in essence doing is Trump is making a decision for the long haul. And by the way, I also want to say this right now. Ronald Reagan may have been one of the most consequential presidents that we have ever had in the United States of America. Ronald Reagan made so many good decisions for our country that our country would not be in the good place that it was had it not been for Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan effectively saved the United States of America. The United States of America would have been destroyed under Jimmy Carter had Ronald Reagan not won.
So
I think that's important to note.
So what Trump is saying is we're a superpower, both militarily and economically, and I'm willing to use that power in order to make America great again.
Bro, I'm gonna read some stats to you. I'm gonna find these stats. I'm gonna read them to you.
So
because these stats are incredible. And by the way,
why has the United States of America not used its economic power until now? I mean, what's been holding the United States back?
Cowards as leaders.
I mean, coward, what are they afraid of? I mean, why isn't Trump afraid? What are they afraid of that Trump isn't afraid of?
It's not about what they're afraid of. It's about what they're being subsidized with. It's about what the world is paying for and what the world isn't paying for. That's what's going on. These guys are bought and paid for. A lot of them are. I think that's the thing that everybody has to understand. This is no small thing that we're looking at here.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to say is I'm seeing a major shift on the political issue. I mean, the way he's dealing with the Middle East is from a point of power. Israeli news is just not pushing that. He repeated again a couple of minutes before the meeting that the Palestinians are going to have no choice but to leave Gaza. I mean, he's pushing that, and he's pushing that as a world superpower.
What he's doing is somewhat smart. I'm telling you.
Well, again, I'm waiting to see how this is going to work out.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Let's just talk about Canada alone.
Okay.
Let's just talk about Canada alone. Historical tariffs Canada has hit America with.
All right.
We buy milk from Canada. They have imposed upon us a 270% tariff. Not 27%, 270%. Cheese.
Which means...
Wait, listen to this. Cheese, 245%. Butter, 298%.
Wait a minute. No, let me understand this. Again, I might be this. So when we buy milk from Canada, okay, we pay for the milk. If Canada buys milk from us, okay, they charge 200% more.
No, if we buy milk from Canada, they charge us a 200. That's right. Yes, if we're selling milk to Canada,
because we have dairies, we have cows.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of cows yesterday.
Let's just say we export milk to Canada, right? Like we're going to sell it. They charge us a 270% tax.
So they're trying to say.
So listen to this. So watch this. I want everybody to hear this. I want for everybody's benefit. Milk, 270%. Cheese, 245%. Butter, 298%. Chicken, 238%. Sausages, 69.9%. Barley seed, 57.8%. Meat, 26.5%. Cars, 25%. Any HVAC stuff that we sell to them, 45%.
HVACs?
Yeah, meaning air conditioning stuff,
gotcha.
refrigeration. Vacuums, 35%. Cable boxes, 35%. TVs, 45%. Steel, that's a big one, by the way. 25% on steel. Aluminum, 45%. Copper, 48%.
So what?
By
Canada,
the way,
what
anybody?
Canada,
Wait, hold on. Anybody want to guess how much financial aid we send to Canada every single year?
after all
In the
of this?
hundreds of billions of dollars. There's a $350 billion trade deficit between us and Canada.
So Canada is saying this: we would rather our farmers manufacture the cheese that is being eaten in the United States, and the United States is making. Wait a minute, we can make our own cheese, and they're saying no. We want you to buy the cheese from us, but we don't want you to sell us cheese, because if you sell us cheese, then people won't buy.
Yeah, and my point is this. What President Trump is telling them is, we don't need to buy anything from you guys. Y'all can shove it.
Can we make our own cheese?
We do make our own cheese. As a matter of fact, the United States of America is famous for the cheese it makes.
Okay, so
we're the number one in that. Besides the Swiss, we are the number one.
so what?
You ever heard of Wisconsin?
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is this: the United States of America says my cheese manufacturers are as important to me as your cheese manufacturers are important to you.
What the United States of America has been saying under the leadership of all of these presidents is, we're bending over.
Yeah.
Go ahead and screw us.
And what Trump is saying, we're not going to do this anymore.
He's saying we get mistreated. Europe charges so much of a tariff on us. When we go to sell cars,
Mhm.
that there aren't a lot of American cars in Europe or in the Middle East.
Agreed. They want us to buy European cars.
So how is it that we're buying hundreds of thousands of European cars every year, paying a massive, and when I say massive, a massive tariff on them? What you spend for a Mercedes in the United States of America, you spend a quarter of that in Europe. If I were to buy a Mercedes right now in the United States of America for $140,000, that same Mercedes is going to cost me $35,000 in Europe. That's because of the tariffs, or the VAT, as they would call it.
Well, the question is this, and here's the left coming up and saying, wait a minute, that's going to make cheese more expensive in the United States now. And that's going against
but here's the thing that people don't understand. It's going to make cheese slightly more expensive, not nearly as expensive as the cheese has been because of the crazy inflation by the previous president. So as the inflationary mechanism that drove the inflation during the time of the previous president begins to die a terrible death, that will drive down the prices of those items while the tariffs continue to increase those prices. Eventually they're going to meet. And where that happy medium takes place is going to eventually be cheaper for us, not just in the long term, but in the near term as well.
Well, in the meantime, Wisconsin is making more cheese.
Yeah, and so that's the point.
And that's more jobs.
The point is,
more...
yes, the point is we're gonna continue. We are gonna continue to thrive and grow, and we will become a nation that undoubtedly ends up winning because we don't have to rely upon exports in order to make a living. We don't.
So here's maybe what I'm trying to get to. Okay. We are living in the greatest nation, maybe besides Israel, in the world.
Yep.
We should take advantage of that. And that should be to the advantage of the American people.
Yes.
Not to the disadvantage of the American people.
I mean, that's my point. Look.
There's nothing wrong with being a great nation.
No.
And that is part of, I think, the difference that we're seeing, or the change that we're seeing as a part of this administration.
But these people are not concerned about the effects of the tariff. These people are capitalizing on what they understand is going to be a price increase. And they're wanting to lie to people to gain some kind of favor. By the way, Ray Goldsboro. For those of you guys don't know who Ray is, you guys should instant message him. I got to meet him personally the last time I was at the conference. He owns a really incredible plumbing company.
Okay.
If you guys ever need plumbing work done, you get a hold of Ray. Ray's the man. I already told Ray when we build the church building, I'm having him come to do it all.
Anything new on that one?
I don't know. We're praying for that, man. We're praying. I love Ray. Ray's he made such an impression on me when I met him in Temecula. Ray, I love you. It's good to hear from you, bro. Glad to see you popping up. Thank you, by the way, for your generosity. We pray on a regular basis that God blesses your business. Amen. And you and your family. Love you, bro.
By the way, before I forget, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about, that when we meet again next week, we're going to be having an amazing, different kind of conversation.
Bro, I don't even know where to start.
This is going to be awesome. Wait a minute. When we meet next week, that's going to be after the Super Bowl, too.
Yeah, I don't even know who's playing in the Super Bowl. I don't even follow any of that woke nonsense.
Here's the thing. I do. I know who's playing. I'm kind of keeping track of what's going on. And I want to say Super Bowl has become a special event for me because of what happened last year at this time, too.
Well, listen, the Super Bowl is a very special event for me, too, because I'm not going to say what year, but during one specific year of the Super Bowl, one of my kids was born.
Oh, amen.
So I'll never forget it.
Amen. Okay, so what? I mean, okay, here's the thing. I'm going to see if I can do this. Uh-oh.
Tweeter trash. Taylor Swift is going to win the Super Bowl again. You have to appreciate that humor.
Just because of that, I'm praying that the EAGLS
that's hilarious.
Okay, win the Super Bowl. But what I'm trying to say is this. Okay,
that's hilarious.
Put 3 things that are going to be massively different when we meet next week and we talk about what happened. Yeah, just throw it out. I'm asking you to be a prophet now.
Okay, well that'll be easy. Let me do this. I'm gonna put the screen on you so I can blow my nose for a second. Hold on.
Uh-oh. He did.
Now you guys know if the screen goes to him, that's me covering up me blowing my nose. Okay.
3 things.
Three things. Okay, if I have to make 3 predictions, Israel's going to be feared like it's never been feared before. Within the next time that we meet. Within the next week. The other prediction, the world is going to be shocked with how close Bibi, Trump, and MBS are. I don't know if we're going to see a glimpse of that, but I think we will. The third thing is Iran is going to fold in one way or another. And when I say fold, meaning they're going to get bombed.
Yell uncle?
They're gonna yell uncle. It's gonna be something.
You think they'll
like
yell uncle, or they're gonna make us bomb them?
I think there's gonna be military action.
It's gonna be a vector event and not economic event.
I also think that Hamas is gonna lose its standing.
Okay, what I don't know if I'm maybe kind of sensitive to this, but more than anything, I hope in a week we know what's going to happen with the rest of the 79 hostages.
Yeah, I think because he's going to force it.
As of now, there's no mechanism that I can see, correct me if I'm wrong, that'll make Hamas give up all the hostages.
If the president right now has gone out of his way to get hostages out of South America, he's going to raise hell and high water to find out what's going on with the American hostages in Gaza.
Yeah, but again, okay, put your Hamas cap on, and we know who they are.
Yeah.
What would make the Hamas give up all the hostages?
Nothing.
Again, so maybe, and maybe this is something that just now clicked in me, and I might be wrong. Maybe the
Iran, maybe.
No, maybe the only thing is the transfer. Maybe the transfer is to make Hamas give up all the hostages.
Maybe. I would love to see how that would play out if that was the case.
So, the fact that I will know next week how Bibi and Trump and whoever know how or planning to get those hostages out, that would be a major shift for me, because as of now, I don't know how that's going to happen.
100%.
Don't know how that's going to happen. Another thing is,
it's going to be commandos. It's going to be a special operation, David. There's no other way.
If we could have, we would have, is the way I like to say it.
I don't think so. Not because of the Biden administration and not because of the problem. Look, if Iran had not attacked the way that they attacked, and there was no massive missile attack, then the fear about the continuity of the Iron Dome would not be there, and they probably would have done what they did. They can't do that if they're being told, we're not going to give you what you already paid for. Now that Trump, notice this.
Okay.
No, I want you to pay attention to this. The last 2 weeks, Trump undid everything that Biden did against Israel.
Yeah.
He officially made the designation for the Houthis by specifically naming them, Ansar Allah, by specifically naming them. He legally made them enemies of the state.
The UNRWA thing is something very,
UNRWA,
very personal for us.
A huge deal. UNRWA, U.S. aid, because U.S. aid is the head of the snake that feeds the devil. You have
UNRWA, by the way, it turns out that the hostages are saying that some of them were held inside
UNRWA headquarters.
Facilities.
Absolutely.
Inside UNRWA facilities.
In the homes of UNRWA supervisors.
Yep.
So you have that, and then you have him basically saying, we are embarrassed. Shame on the previous regime for not giving you what you paid for. You already paid us for these supplies. You're getting them all. And because we did that to you, we're going to make a better deal with you the next shipment around.
Next week, will it be an attack on the Iranian nuclear facility, or will it be an economic stranglehold on Iran?
The economic stranglehold already started. I don't know if you saw that.
He
signed the executive order basically reinstituting the strangulation.
Is he going to allow that to see if that works before we pull off a kinetic attack?
I think that's why he's doing that all now. He's doing that all now before he meets with Bibi, so that he can tell Bibi everything is on the table, do whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
He needs to be able to show the American people and the rest of the world that he has done this maximum pressure. I think based on doing what he just did to Iran this morning, that somebody got in his ear and told him the MEK was a bad route. Thank you, Jesus. And I think he's just dealing with cutting off the head of the snake. I'm very proud of our president. It feels good to say that again. It feels good to say that.
Yep. I feel good.
Lots of people are asking Ray if he could go out of state. I know, Ray, I think I bought too much business for you. No such thing as too much business.
Totally.
Maybe you could broker some deals, bro, all over the country.
Should we pray?
Let's do it. Go ahead, Habibi.
Okay. Lord, it's happening right now. Literally, Benjamin Netanyahu has driven into the White House, and I have this overall spiritual feeling that this pivotal point is going to be a major shift in everything that's coming. What I'm asking is put your hand over, put your presence over everything that's happening.
Yes, Lord.
And may this be your work in action on a political level. It's going to change so many things, and it's going to change so many lives. And I just pray for wisdom. Pray for eagle to step down and your will to step up in everything that is happening in this very, very critical moment. I pray for the hostages are there and the families are there that are sitting and waiting to hear what's going to happen. I pray for the people in Gaza who are waiting to see how this is going to play out. And I pray for the rest of the world that is watching very closely how the United States of America is dealing with this and are going to make their decisions based on what's happening right now. We're in a different time, and what I want this is to be for your glory. Just pray that with all of my heart in the name of your Son, Jesus.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen and amen. All right, guys, we love you. I stay tuned. We are going to have something, and I'll tell you what. If something super major happens, we will we'll try to go live.
Let's see if we can
and get some work done on this. I think we will, because I think that there's a lot to be said, and maybe even this evening we might be able to do. I don't know, depending on what the conference is and what happens, we'll see. But we'll keep you guys up to speed and let you know what we're doing. Okay. We love you guys. Thank you for your support. You're all amazing. Love you guys. God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight. You're among some of the best people in the world. I hope you guys know that. We love serving you guys. God bless you.
Hope to see you soon.